You seem to be suffering from a temporary amnesia, either from the bump into the garbage scow or the shock of the cold water.
All right, now I just told her about her not being your mother, and I want you to tell her too.
The movie opens with a shot of a luxurious yacht cutting through the calm Oregon coastline. On board is Joanna Staten, a wealthy, spoiled socialite with an attitude as sharp as her diamond earrings. She's living the perfect life, at least on the surface.
Gnats keep landing on my wet nail polish.
Rich husband, designer wardrobe, and no worries beyond her next glass of champagne. But when the camera pans to the deck, we meet Dean Prophet, rugged local carpenter, hired to build new shelves in Joanna's closet.
I need drawers for my lingerie. I can't keep entering these boxes all the time.
Dean's a single dad with 4 rowdy boys, a man who works hard but doesn't have much. Their worlds couldn't be more different. From the start, Joanna treats Dean like dirt. She criticizes his work, calls him names, and makes sure he knows his place.
You know, forks were invented so man could at least make a pretense of separating himself from the apes.
When Dean finishes the job and uses cheap oak instead of cedar because that's what she approved, Joanna explodes. She refuses to pay him and throws him and his tools overboard in pure arrogance.
Keep going!
As you wish.
Later that night, karma actually strikes. Joanna gets up in the middle of the night and goes on deck to look for her wedding ring and her silk nightgown. She slips, falls overboard, and disappears into the dark, cold water. The next morning, her husband Grant wakes up, sees she's gone, and doesn't seem too upset. More annoyed than worried. Joanna is found alive but with amnesia. She has no idea who she is, where she's from, or what happened. She's rude, confused, and still bossy, even without her memory.
In this semi-private room, you snore!
Grant comes to the hospital, sees her, and instead of helping, he realizes it's the perfect opportunity to ditch his wife. He lies, pretends he doesn't know her, and takes off on the yacht for his solo vacation. Meanwhile, Dean sees the news on TV and gets an idea. Not exactly noble, but definitely clever.
Today, one man arrived on the scene to make an identification.
I can't believe it. He's skipping out on her.
He decides to get revenge. He goes to the hospital and claims Joanna as his wife, saying her name is Annie. He fakes a marriage certificate and spins a whole story about her being a hardworking mother of 4 boys who lost her memory after a boating accident.
She does have a small strawberry-like birthmark.
The hospital believes him, and just like that, the rich, snobby Joanna Staten becomes Annie Prophet, a broke housewife from Elk Cove. When she first arrives at Dean's chaotic home, Annie is horrified. The place is filthy, the kids are wild, and Dean clearly enjoys watching her suffer. He gives her endless chores, cleaning, cooking, laundry, and wrangling his unruly sons. She struggles, screams, and threatens him daily, but Dean doesn't let up.
Your list of daily chores. See you tonight.
For him, this is payback, pure and simple. Over the next few days, Annie's life becomes a series of disasters. She burns food, ruins the washing machine, and gets hurt trying to use the chainsaw. But somewhere amid the chaos, something starts to shift. One evening, Annie starts to get curious about her past. She looks over at Dean and asks softly, "Do you have any pictures of our wedding?" Dean freezes for a second, the one thing he hadn't thought about. Trying to play it cool, he scratches his head and says, telling her they lost them while they were moving to this house.
You know, we lost a lot of stuff in the move.
Later that night, Dean drives over to his buddy Billy's place. He explains the situation, and they cut out Joanna's picture from a magazine article and with some hilariously bad editing skills, pastes her face next to Dean on a cheap wedding snapshot. The next day, Dean proudly brings the wedding album home and shows it to Annie. She stares at the photo, whispering, "Can't believe I don't remember any of this."
Wasn't I ever happy?
Well, sure, honey, lots.
And believes it now. The next day, as they are having Dean's friends over for lunch, Annie turns her back to grab more plates, and the kids quietly spread super glue on the one she's holding. When she tries to put them down, she realizes they're stuck. The boys burst into laughter, rolling on the floor while covered in glue and fury. Annie glares at him and yells, "Aren't you going to do something?" The house erupts with laughter as Annie storms off with plates still glued to her palms, and later returns with a garden hose and blasts them with cold water. They scream and scatter in every direction while Annie laughs for the first time since she arrived. She keeps spraying until everyone's soaked, including Dean. For a brief moment, the tension breaks. Annie's laughter fills the yard, and even the boys can't help but laugh with her. It's the first real sign that she's starting to fit in. Not as the spoiled Joanna Staten, but as Annie, part of this crazy, lovable family. The boys begin to warm up to her, and she starts to care about them. When they get in trouble at school, Annie actually defends them.
My children are in need of medical assistance.
She starts cooking edible meals, cleaning up the house, and even making it feel like a home. Dean, who first enjoyed watching her misery, begins to notice how different she's becoming. At night, she starts having quiet conversations on the porch. Annie wonders who she really was before this life. Dean, guilty but still hiding the truth, just says, "Maybe this is who you were meant to be." Their chemistry grows naturally, small glances, inside jokes, and those soft moments that say more than words. Meanwhile, back in the yacht, Grant is still living the high life, surrounded by women, completely forgetting about Joanna. But her mother keeps calling, and he begins to panic when he learns Joanna's mother is on her way to their yacht. As time passes, Annie transforms completely. She's not the cold, spoiled woman anymore. She's a loving mother figure and a partner to Dean.
Something wrong?
Well, no.
Together, they build a mini golf course for the community, working late nights to make it happen. In one heartfelt scene, Annie surprises Dean by designing part of it herself, showing how much she's learned and how far she's come. Then comes the turning point. Grant hurriedly heads to where Joanna is, and as soon as she sees him, all of her memories are suddenly restored.
I remember. I'm Joanna Staten.
Truth unravels fast. She's not Annie Prophet, but Joanna Staten, a millionaire heiress who has been living a lie. Dean's secret comes crashing down. At first, Joanna is confused, then heartbroken. The betrayal cuts deep. She leaves with Grant, returning to her old life on the yacht. But something's different now. She doesn't fit in anymore. Her expensive clothes, her mother, and Grant's smug face all feel empty. She's changed, and deep down, she knows it. Back in Out Cove, Dean's life feels hollow without her. The boys miss her and want to set out on a journey to bring her back home. Dean reluctantly agrees, and they head out on a boat with the help of Billy's friends.
Sign another ship and telling a passenger you love them, sir.
In one of the film's most memorable moments, Joanna confronts Grant and finally learns that he knowingly abandoned her at the hospital.
Yes, I did leave you. There. Now I've confessed. So what?
Annie, feeling betrayed, decides to stand up for herself. She orders the yacht turned around, declaring that her real life, the one she wants, is back in Out Cove. The kids and Dean finally spot the yacht in the distance. The boys cheer, and Dean tells them to stay low while he jumps into the ocean.
Man overboard!
Shit!
Seeing this, Annie couldn't believe her eyes, and later she dives into the ocean, swimming toward Dean's boat. It mirrors her first fall overboard, but this time it's her choice. They meet in the middle, laughing and holding on to each other as the waves crash around them. Then the U.S. Coast Guard arrives to pull them out from the water.
A rescue boat is starboard!
The movie closes with the family reunited. Dean, Joanna, and the boys together. He asked her how she left all the wealth just for him and the kids, and Annie says she hasn't left anything, and all the money in the yacht was hers. And she grins, saying she wants a little girl. As the camera pans out over the water, the final image shows the two of them kissing, rich and poor, liar and victim, now equals, bound not by revenge or memory, but by love. Our journey through this classic has come to an end, but the nostalgia never stops. Hit subscribe for more retro movie adventures and drop a comment letting me know which movie we should revisit next.